Welcome to the Send More Offers Real Estate Show with Brandon Barnes, showing you how to do wholesaling deals consistently without having to go on seller appointments. Learn the key tips and strategies that Brandon's students use to find deeply discounted properties that are pennies on the dollar, all while avoiding wear and tear on their vehicle, body, and freedom. Whether you're looking for your first deal or your next deal, it's time to send more offers with your host, Brandon Barnes.
Welcome to the show, Jenna. I'm super excited to have you here.
I'm super excited to be here.
Yes, excited. Good deal. So you're introducing us to Realeflow, and I think it needs no introduction, right? I know that there's a lot of folks that use it. Some folks may be using it and not even knowing that they're using the software, but you guys have an amazing platform that helps investors get deals, find deals, have the best data, AI generated, data. It's super exciting. Tell us all about it. Give us your introduction to Realeflow.
Okay. Well, I may be biased if I say it's the best company out there, but I definitely think so. So basically what it is, like if there's anybody who's out there sitting and thinking, man, I want to be a real estate investor. I see those shows on TV. I want to flip a house. But, I'm nervous because there's so many things I don't know. Like some of the things you may not know would be, well, how much will it cost to renovate these houses? Like assuming we can even find them. Like, so where do I even find the houses? How do I analyze them? Where do I sell? Who do I sell them to? Like there's so many different things that like our minds are spinning with when we're a brand new investor. And so the thing that's super nice about the software is it is that answer. It is that solution. So it's an all-inclusive software. So we're basically a data provider. So we're going to be able to provide you with nationwide access to all the available properties across the country. So over 148 million properties nationwide, right there at your fingertips. And then from there, we can filter and see like, just show me the foreclosures or just show me the active listings or there's so many ways we can find those motivated sellers and have our letters show up on their door before they even know that they want to sell their property. So basically, that's a whole, component of real estate investing in general is just finding the leads. And then from there, the software is designed with a CRM and also business management tools. So it's going to be able to have a built-in repair estimator. So all you have to do is tell it, yes, it needs a new roof, and it's going to calculate the grand total for you all the way down to every component inside and outside of the house. So as a brand new investor, you don't even need to know what things cost or what will cost for me to fix it because the system is going to do it. And then we're also tied into Home Depot's online database so we can build out material lists and scope of work. And then we can have a built-in deal analysis where we can basically say, okay, I'm buying it for this. I'm fixing it for this. What will I make on it? So, all the way down to like liquidation, and we have autoresponders. So if there's anybody, even if you're a seasoned real estate investor, the tools in the system are just so unbelievable that this is what I've been using myself. Like whenever I became an investor 10 years ago, the software is what I used since day one. And obviously it has significantly advanced itself over the 10 years because I joke about like some of the early, quirks and issues, with it, which are kind of cute to think of like the baby stages, all the way till now where it's doing such high level things that people are going with zero real estate experience, becoming real estate investors, all with just software and super affordable software at that.
Well, yeah, let's get into that. Well, with your start in real estate, was this something that, you became affiliated with the company, or you were already, looking and working within real estate and then found the solution? Like, how did that start for you?
Yeah, so it was just a little over 10 years ago, I got into real estate. So I was part of another real estate education company, and they offered Realeflow as a feature, as a tool to help you get started. So it was something that I used from the beginning. Like I said, it has significantly advanced in a lot of different areas, like so many different areas since then. So in the beginning, I would use it just mainly for my repairs, and then got into doing direct mail campaigns. And like, I know anybody can sit who's, somewhat affiliated with a company or a big cheerleader and sit and say, this is what I use in my business. But like, I legit use this. Like there isn't a deal that we purchase that has not gone through the same scrutiny that any other user would be using the system for. Like I use the repair numbers. I see the deal analysis. Like these are the same documents I provide to my private lenders because I want them to see the deal. I want them to see the comps. So we can pull comps right there in the system. We can, like I said, do auto responding campaigns. We have the ability to do, like voice broadcasting, text blasting to our list. So, I mean, there's like, we're only touching just like the surface of what it can do.
Right. I mean, and one of the cool things that I don't even know if you mentioned yet is the AI assistance of, it being able to, tell you using artificial intelligence, tell you what is more likely to be a wholesale deal, a buy and hold, or a flip. That's super cool. And, I think that you guys are on the cutting edge. And disclaimer, I've used the software and I love it. I think that, this is something that you can really dial in your data with. And, we're talking about data providers here. There are a few different ones that are out there. And, there's the regular, told and favorited services, but this is a service that, a lot of people are probably using and they don't even know it because you guys have the ability to work with other major coaches and influencers and then allow them to use the data. So this is backed and vouched by a lot of different major investors out there around the nation. What is it that, kind of caused Realeflow to be something that we're kind of hearing more about now out in the front?
So you started out talking about the artificial intelligence, and I'll kind of just break it down. Sometimes like when you talk like our AI, it can be like high level, and I'm like, some companies talk about it and I'm like, my eyes glaze over because I can't understand what it means in English. Right. So, but basically what we do with our artificial intelligence is you have nationwide access to all the leads across the country. But then in certain zones, you have something what's called a sellability score. So each property in that particular zip code in your region is given a score on a scale of 0 to 1,000, 1,000 being the best, on how likely we feel and we predict that that property is going to sell in the next 90 days. Now, I mean, it's when you hear like all the different stats on it, I mean, it's like super, super invasive data. Like we're talking about like we own all the data on every house that has sold in the country since the 1980s. Like as a company, we have all that data. And then we look at everything that led up to that house sale. So like what magazines did people subscribe to? What cars did they drive? How much money did they make? Did somebody lose a job? Like, was there a death in the family? Like late on credit card payments? Like down to things to like, do they have a screened in porch and how old is the house? I mean, like billions and billions of data points we own. And then what we do is we look at the correlation. Okay, this house sold. So what led up to it? And I like to call it like symptoms. So what we do is we take that information and we apply that to today's people. So if we see that somebody today has the same 18 out of 20 symptoms that somebody in the past had, that they ended up selling right away, that gets them a higher score. And so what we do, like if we're looking at like a typical real estate list, on average, about 1% of properties on any list that you buy will sell in the next 90 days. Now with our stuff, if we use like our higher AI scores, we're at 16 times that. It's like, I like, don't quote me, it's like 16.3 or 16.9 or, 4 or something like that. The reason we get that number is because as a company, we do our own look back analysis. So we'll actually pull lists in areas, wait 90 days, and look to see what ends up selling in that 90 days. And then what we do is we have that nationwide average. So whenever you're leveraging the AI, you go from the 1% to over 16 times. So if you pull a list of 100 people, 16 of them most likely, at least 16 most likely will sell in the next 90 days. I mean, hopefully they sell to us, but that's our proven facts. And so like if you're going to be thinking about, okay, I'm going to be spending $100 a month is all I can afford. Well, wouldn't you rather just target to the 50 people in your zip code and save money on marketing versus marketing to 11,600 people and then sifting through and just hopefully that, that handful of them call you back? Like, no, I would much rather save the money and use the company that, I mean, the data that we have is so invasive that we can't tell you why they're on the list or why they received the score that they did. Legally, the only way we can like give you any info is just by scoring it. So, I mean, it is like top notch, top of the level. And I mean, and I use it myself for my own business, for my own flips and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, apologies for like I kind of glossed over it, and
Now it's a sexy tool. It's a sexy tool.
It is. It definitely is, and I like it for that very, very reason of really being able to filter down to a much smaller list, smaller level. Especially once you start stacking different motivations, like it really can give you a lot of really, really good data. So back to the other part of that question was, right now, right, we're hearing about, I'm hearing about Realeflow more and more. Is this something that you guys are starting to, spread your wings and be more out front versus kind of a white label service? Is it just available to anybody at this point?
Well, the cool thing about Realeflow is that our main focus is not necessarily selling our product directly. Like we don't do a whole lot of marketing because it's kind of like, it sells itself, but also where we focus a lot of our efforts is just getting other people to use our product, see what it can do, and then really leveraging their relationships with their client bases. So anybody, like if anybody is sitting there, anybody can be an affiliate. Like you can go on, you can become a user, you can become an affiliate, or if you're somebody who has a larger, let's say, client base and you want to kind of claim ownership of our product, we can white label that product for you. And then we can work hand in hand with you to customize it while we white label it. So we've had some like really high level real estate gurus that basically white label our product where it looks like they have their own CRM, they have their own software solution, but really we're the back ends of it with their label on it. But then the thing that's beautiful about it is because we're working with so many people, it's almost like having relationships with like a mastermind with these people, because some of them will say, you know what, your comping tool kind of sucks right now. And so like last year, we completely revamped it because it wasn't what it could have been. So because of these relationships, we completely just dissected it. And now it's like a fantastic tool that, I mean, that was kind of like our, the comping tool. Like nobody wanted to talk about the comping tool. It's like, we'll tell you about everything else. But now, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And even more, one other thing that I really thought was an amazing feature is the ability to quickly be able to send mail through the service, right? And even down to handwritten or computer machine handwritten mailings that's super sexy as well, because, it really matters when you stand out versus the millions of other postcards and stuff that folks are getting.
Yeah.
Is that something that's a big feature for you guys?
Yeah. So, I mean, we have our direct mail engine. So you can send we can pull a list of all these people. We can find all the people that want to sell, but then what do we do with them? So that's where we also come into play, where we have the ability to skip trace them. We also have a high level skip trace feature where it gives us the ability to pierce that corporate veil and get LLC contact information. We can get up to 10 different contact information, like creepy stuff like birthdays, social media profiles, emails, even like relative contact information. Like we will find you, not in a, I mean, I guess it is a creepy way, but also we can direct to mail. And not only can we just send out like typical postcards, letters, just like every other company, we also have an affiliation with this company. So basically we have this relationship with this warehouse, and it's all these robotic arms that are literally holding a blue Bic pen, and that machine will handwrite your letter, handwrite the envelope, and it puts a physical stamp on it. So from our users, they say it's about twice the price. So it's like a little, don't quote me on the price, especially when somebody's going to listen, like maybe like $1.89 or something a letter. Yeah. But they say it's twice the price, but 10 times the results. So, I mean, it's just like when you get this in the mail, like the reason we even became affiliated with this company is because one of our owners sent one of the other owners a letter from that company to see if he could get him to open it. And he got him to open it. So he's like, all right, if this got you to open your mail, we need to incorporate this into our software. So it's about twice the price for like maybe a little more. Like our regular direct mail is 89 cents a letter, down to our 4x6 size postcard that's 49 cents. And that's double-sided, color glossy, the postage. And you can do a mailing of one if you want to. You don't have to do like 1,000 to get that price. Like, so you're bundled into that low wholesale price.
Nice.
Super cool.
Very cool. Good stuff. I love it. And I want to get into some of the detail of maybe some work that you've done, how it's helped you in your business. But before I do, is there anything else new, any other features that you guys have upcoming? Anything else under the hood?
Yeah. So we're always like secret ninjas. So I'll tell you like some of the things that we're unveiling now. So we're unveiling we just came out with a mobile app, which is super cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So we just came out with that. Realeflow is what it's called. So you can, download that. And if you have, a main account, you can tie them together. So it's basically like a driving for dollars app. So if you're driving around and like, have you ever used like, HomeSnap or something like that? So it's kind of like that, where you're driving around, you see a place, but where we're different is not only do we give you the stats on the property, but now you can skip trace them, call them right there, send them a piece of direct mail right there. Instead of like having a note, like a sticky note somewhere, like I need to get home and remember to call them. Right. And it ties to your main account. So that's super cool. But then also what we're coming out with is we're calling it AME. It's our AME, which is kind of like our automated marketing engine. I think that's what it stands for. But basically what it is, so it's AME. So what we're going to be doing is, let's say that you typically market to absentee owners in your neck of the woods, and you're always looking for 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and like whatever your typical list that you market to, and you have it saved. What we're doing now is we have it to where if there's anything new that pops up in our list, like, because people are like, well, how often are your leads updated? Some of them are updated every day. So if you're sitting there and something new pops up into that category that's your favorite category that you haven't marketed to yet, it's going to you can have it set up to where it emails you or texts you or both. And then you even can give it like additional permissions where it can update you, and you give it permission to where it will automatically send out a direct mail letter or postcard or whatever you want it to do to that person. So you can be like constantly like on a revolving door sending out marketing material. You don't even have to do it. But the cool thing is it's notifying you first. So you're like the first kid to the playground. Like you get the best swing, you get the best whatever you want before anybody even knows about it. So that's something that's like latest and greatest coming out, which is going to be exciting.
Yes, very exciting. And guys, me personally, and I'll definitely share a link at the end, but, I've worked with and been affiliated with a lot of different data providers, and I'm more excited about this than anything else. And like I said, you guys have cracked the code with using some of the, artificial intelligence, the confidence scores, and really helping us dial in the amount of records that we're working through at a given time. That's what I love about it. So definitely big shout out for me on that. Now let's talk about some use case that you have in particular, maybe a deal that you've done, or, when you first were getting out. I know you told me about in the past about a story where, you just wanted to try it out, and lo and behold, it blew your mind, and then you kind of got into it from there. Like, tell us about some of those situations.
Yeah. So like, I'm a skeptic, like, I mean, not in a bad way. Like if somebody's like, here, try this fruit juice and you'll lose 20 pounds. I'm like, okay, I mean, do I have to do anything else? Is it just the juice? But so when the artificial intelligence first came out, I was like, all right, like, I know what you say it can do, but does it really do that? Like, does it really work? Especially in my area, because I invest in like some really poor areas in Pennsylvania. So I was like, all right, like, let's test this out. And so I just did like a really small campaign. I targeted like absentee owners of vacant properties. So somebody who owns a property that they don't physically live in and it's sitting there vacant. So obviously it's not generating any income. And then what I did is I added in the artificial intelligence scores. So I think I just did something like maybe a 6 or a 700 and above, just because if I would have done like a 900 and above, like I would have had 0 or 2. Right. So I just wanted enough like substance in my list. So I'm like, all right, like I think I did like a 5 or 6 or 700 and above. And so then what I did is I sent it out, and I just did a really small, like a 2-touch campaign. So like 2 postcards. I think I did the middle size, which was like the 6 or whatever, the middle size one. I just usually click on them. And I think it's like the 59 cents a postcard. So I think there was like 59 different people that I had on the list. I don't remember if it removed any duplicates or anything like that. Normally I'd say do more than a 2-touch campaign, but that's another story. But so I just did a 2-touch campaign.
What do you recommend? What do you think is best for folks that want to send direct mail?
Like the more touches, the better. Like you can send up to a 5-touch campaign. Like if that person, if you're only doing a 2-touch, it's like hopefully they're ready to talk to you, because otherwise they're just going to throw it in the garbage. But if you're there like the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one. Like they're going to be like, all right, I'll call you, at least if it's just to tell you to leave me alone. Right. But so I do recommend doing more, but I was just like, all right, let's just see if it works. Like I was almost like setting it up to fail by like just not paying attention. So I'm like, all right, 2-touch campaign. This is what I did. And I had 13 phone calls out of 59 people. I think I only spent, it was like $87, like somewhere around $87. So super cheap. I got 13 calls. And out of that, like about 7 of them were ones that would make me be like, maybe, so I narrowed it down to like a handful. I went and looked at, most of them, I think. And the things that people would say, it was almost like I wish I would have recorded it because people were like, we were just out having pizza the other night and we were just thinking, what should we do at this house? And then your postcard arrived. So it was like perfect. Like her husband worked out of state. They had this rental. They didn't want to put anybody in it because they were afraid that something would happen and he wouldn't be home to help. But long story short, so she talked about creative financing. I bought it subject to. Nice. So which means that the mortgage stayed in their name. I had the deed to the property. And it basically, within like the time that we started working together, she put a tenant in there for me. And so it rents out currently right now, it rents out at $750 a month. And so my all-in payment every single month was $314 or something like that. That's like the mortgage, the taxes, insurance, all that, like all bundled in. And it was like a 3% interest loan. I mean, it was like a beautiful loan. But anyways, so long story short on that, like another one of those like 7 I got as a real estate listing because I'm a licensed agent. And so the one that I'm like mainly talking to you about, so every single month, like since the last, like it was like 3 or 4 years ago that the AI came out that we started working with it, that I did that first campaign, every single month, that property generates over $400 in positive cash flow income from an $87 campaign that I did just to see if it even worked, So, I mean, that's just like one story, one campaign, and then recently we were able to refinance that property. We were able to pull a bunch of cash out of it, So, I mean, we ended up paying off and now we have a bank loan on it. So, that person's since been paid off and everything like that. So, very cool. I mean, that's just one story. I mean, I have another friend, she's an affiliate and one of her students just did I think it was a foreclosure campaign. And they made over $200,000 or $250,000 on this deal just from a lead that they got from doing a foreclosure campaign or something like that. I don't remember all the stats, but I'm like, heck yeah, like this is so cool. Like when you hear all the people that are doing it, like it's seriously like a gym. Like if you sign up for a gym and you don't go, those are the results you're going to get. But if you sign up for a software, you're serious about being an investor, you're serious about submerging yourself in the education, the tools, the systems, the resources, the trainings that you have, then there's no doubt you're going to have the results. Like we know people can succeed at it. Like I'm not saying, hey guys, here, like we're going to learn how to fly today. Like I'm not going to teach you something that's not real. Like, yeah, you can maybe fly some ways, but what I'm saying is like people are having the results and all we have to do is sit down and figure out the roadmap so everybody else can have those same results. So it's totally tangible and possible.
Agreed. And that is the most important thing, right? Like when you get going in this business, like if you don't have good data, you're just going to be spinning your wheels and that's going to make you more frustrated about this whole thing, right? And so having good data is just absolutely important. And then once you get going, right, having the ability to whittle down your data and make your list more targeted starts to save costs as you become a bigger organization. You're not mailing the masses or calling the masses and wasting time. So there's so many benefits to this, and I love it. This has been great. Is there anything else that you would say just from some of the other users or coaches of how folks are using Realeflow in their business and their coaching programs? Is there anything else that you've heard or you've seen that you can kind of speak to here?
I mean, like I just said like a couple minutes ago, it's just all about really leveraging the tools. Like some people will use it and they say, I just want the analyze tools where they just want to be able to use the CRM side of it, where they're going to be able to figure out the repair numbers and figure out if it's a deal or not. And some people say, I don't even need that. I have my own system. I just want the data. So really the system is designed to be whatever somebody wants it to be. And we're not one of those type of people that are like, we'll lock you into something. Like if you get into it, you ended up fooling around with the software, you say it's not for me, they totally will make things right with you, and you can cancel all your stuff. Like, there's no harm. And sometimes they even give you like a free trial period, depending on, I don't even know how long it would be. Like, I'm not on that division. I'm just, here as a cheerleader and user of it.
Right.
But try it out. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You can get a deal. Like, I mean, like
Right.
what is the worst thing that can happen? Like, sometimes people dip their toe in real estate, and that's usually the people that this doesn't work for, is the people that kind of want to do it, kind of say they want to do it. And then they kind of send out a marketing campaign and they kind of hope for results, but they're really petrified for their phone to ring. So, I mean, if you're ready, like, this is the system to get your phone to ring. It even has a built-in seller script too. I didn't even talk about that. So if you're saying like, okay, let's back it up even further. I'm this brand new real estate baby. Like, what do I do when the phone rings? Well, there's a built-in script that's literally going to prompt you on what to say. Like, you click on something and then it will prompt you your next question. You click on something, it will prompt you what to ask. So like, as long as you can follow a script or even practice a little bit in advance, and as long as you can click some buttons to tell the system how to fix the, like the roof, the windows, the siding, it needs a new kitchen, you can figure out the repairs. You can do contracts in the system. You can track all your expenses, your maintenance, everything like that. You can blast it out to your buyers list. Like, literally, the sky's the limit. Like, this system is going to handhold you all the way from the beginning to the end. And it's designed by people like me, like, who are fellow real estate investors. It's not just like we have a group of people that are sitting there like these big brains that like have no idea. We do have a big team of these big brain, amazing developers, but I'm like that person that's always annoying. Like, hey, can it do this? Can it do that? Like, can we change this? And so like, we're always evolving, always improving just for this reason.
Very cool. Good stuff. Well, look, I mean, I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to share with everybody and even do maybe some demos. I know we talked about doing some stuff together and, letting people see behind the hood, especially if you're checking this out here now. But I can't let you go without putting you through the lightning round. Are you ready for that?
Oh, let's see what we got.
All right.
Oh, man. We couldn't figure out microphones earlier. Now you have like friggin' sound effects. I'm like scared. I feel like I'm in Disney World.
Exactly. Look, what's one book that's been instrumental to your growth as a real estate investor?
This one, it's The Carpenter by John Gordon. I mean, there's a million books that I like. I just literally finished this one today. I'm doing 75 Hard, which is like, it's a mental toughness challenge you have to read. But that's one. I really liked it because it talks about the kind of like an entrepreneur, but it also like humbles you to teach you the core basics that you need to know. Also, I just finished another book. It was like The Art of, don't quote me, I don't have to get it to you. It's some sort of like effective communication, like The Art of Effective Communication. I don't even remember who it was. I just read that one before that one. But that was really cool because it taught me a lot about like when I go to different masterminds and different networking events, how to communicate better with people. Because sometimes I'm just like a chatterbox and I'm in your face and I just need to step back and be quiet a little more. So that was a good one.
I know how it is.
Yeah.
The Carpenter kind of like the E-Myth? Like, is it more,
it's kind of like that. I mean, it's about this guy who is running in perfect health and just falls over. And pretty much this carpenter finds him, takes him to the hospital, saves his life. And then while they're, he ends up having him help him with some work. And then he gives him like these like life lessons every day that he sees him, because he collapsed because he was so stressed as an entrepreneur, trying to do all these things, focus on this, bring in money, because as a brand new real estate investor, if you guys quit your other careers, like real estate has to be like the breadwinner, like that has to like pay your bills. And so it can be a super stressful time. And so a lot of times you can forget the givens along the way, I like to call them. And so he like taught him how to, focus on his family and his kids and love and serve. And so, it was kind of an eye opener for me. A lot of things that I always believe and I always preach to the students I work with, but it was just good to read it again, kind of thing. Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's get through these others. Who would you have drinks or coffee with, dead or alive? Who would it be and why? If you could have drinks or coffee with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Man, I'm doing 75 Hard, so I can't drink, and I gave up caffeine too. So man. But if I would, I want to meet Nicole Curtis from Rehab Addict.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I can get into like, I'd love to like see my grandma again. She died, like obviously like those kind of, if I'm going to answer it real,
No,
but
that's a
but
good
if it's
one.
like somebody in real life, like I really want to meet her. I just always think
Yeah.
she's so cool.
Good stuff. Best advice for someone looking to do their very first wholesale deal.
To do their very first wholesale. So something easy that I always remember is wholesaling has 3 legs. So picture like a little wooden stool with 3 legs. First one is going to be good leads coming in. So you have to have something that's going to provide you with good leads. The second is going to be the art of negotiating. So can you get that deal under contract, getting it under contract for the right price? And 3 is a good quality buyers list. So if you have this little wooden stool and you kick out any of those legs, then it's going to fall over. So you can have all the leads in the world and maybe you can negotiate, but your buyer's list is pretty sucky, then you're not going to wholesale. Like if you have a good buyer's list, but you have no leads coming in, it's going to suck. So just always remember you need to have leads coming in. You have to be able to know how to evaluate it, get it under contract, and have somebody that you're going to wholesale it to. If it's a good deal, somebody's going to want it. If nobody wants it, it's probably a sucky deal.
Yeah.
1000%. Yeah.
Love it. Cool. If you could talk about one mistake on a deal or in business in general, what would it be?
I would say in the beginning, a mistake that I made is I took on too many projects too quickly with not enough real estate education and not enough of, if this happened, here's what you should do kind of education knowledge. So I would say take things slow, plan things out. Everybody's excited about getting into a new business. So you're going to like want to convince yourself every deal's a deal. You're going to want to underestimate repairs. You're going to want to say it's going to sell higher, even though it won't. Like those are the mistakes we make in the beginning. Don't convince yourself deals are deals and don't try to take on too much. And just always remember, like, if you have another career, this should be bonus money. So make it fun, make it to where you give that money a job so that way you're working towards something. If it's to try to retire or whatever, then make sure you have an appropriate financial coach who's working with you so that you can figure out what you need to do to make that a safe transition to, retirement type of thing.
Good stuff. I typically ask your financial goal for the calendar year, but I'll modify it. If you woke up tomorrow with $500 million deposited into your account overnight, what's the first thing that you would go out and purchase with that newfound money?
I want to buy a piece of land. I've been looking for some land just myself because, yeah, I know. That's what I need.
That's a good one.
My parents are in their late 60s, and I'm so fortunate to have them both alive and both of them in as good of health as possible. They've gone through some health things, but they're on the up and up and they're doing great. So like my goal is to be able to build, I don't know if it's gonna be my forever house, but my next house. And I want to build like a separate wing where they're going to be close by so that way when they get older to that, like I was even talking to my dad today at breakfast about it. I'm like, whenever you guys get to that, like old, like you need to be in a nursing home age. I want you to be at my house and I have somebody help take care of you or I take care of you because I don't want them to have to go to a nursing home. So I want to just get set up, have them here in that way. And then I want an in-ground pool. And that's like my big thing. I know, dream big. Like I do all these houses for all these people. And then like, it was so funny when I used to flip houses, I would do all these things. And I'm like, man, my house doesn't even have that. Like I always put everybody first.
Yeah, I love it. Last one. What is the best advice you would give someone looking to scale their business?
Okay, to scale, I would say you need to submerge yourself in whatever it is. Like, so if you say, I want somebody in this role, you need to make sure you know that role front and back and you document everything that you do. Because a lot of times people think, well, I need more people on my team. And then you basically get somebody and you have no idea what to tell them to do. You're just basically like, they're coming in to do the loose ends that you don't have time to do, but then they're running around like a headless chicken. So what I always recommend doing is if you don't know how to do that role, then you need to focus more time on learning it. And then you can bring on somebody, then you can train them and outsource it and document everything along the way. Like there's different like softwares like Camtasia and things like that, or, like different like screen recording softwares that you can basically like anything that you're doing, then basically you can record your screen. Like if I want somebody who knows to pull like MLS data from me. Well, I can do it on my computer, record it, then give it to somebody else. But if you want to scale, learn it, know it, and then hand it off to somebody else before you try handing it off, because otherwise nobody's going to know what's going on.
Yeah, I love it. This has been great. So I love everything about Realeflow. I have myself, my team, we're already pulling lists through this. I have some of my students that have been introduced to it as well. And I can't wait to share it with more. I know that folks can go to the link, sendmoreoffers.com/Realeflow to sign up. There may be even a discount for you guys for, getting that start and getting signed up. But, where can folks continue to learn more about, what you have going on as an investor, or where do you want to send them to, follow along with the company, the software company?
Well, to follow me or to see what I'm up to, I'm at Jenna Buys Houses on all social media platforms. So Jenna, Jenna, Buys, it's plural, so BUYS, and then Houses is plural, HOUSES. So on all the different social media. As far as learning more about the software, that would be the link you just gave, because on there they can go in, they can trial things out, they can see our knowledge base, which is going to have the frequently asked questions. Give it a try. I mean, like I said, the worst that happens is you spend a couple of dollars and then you find a deal. I mean, otherwise, if it doesn't work, it's because, I don't want to be rude, but if it doesn't work, it's because you didn't use it. You know what I mean? Not you personally. The people that say that they want a refund or they don't like it is because there was other things going on. It wasn't the software. It's usually the software is a byproduct of other things. So
yeah, I agree.
They weren't ready yet. They weren't ready.
Exactly. I can't wait to try out this mobile app. Super excited about that. Well, thanks again, Jenna. This has been great. I can't wait to see everything that you guys have going on, yourself as well. And let's get on a demo soon and show people under the hood.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Guys, as always, send more offers, do more deals. Until next time, peace.
That's all for this episode of the Send More Offers Real Estate Show with Brandon Barnes. But we know you're craving more knowledge to get yourself ready for that next deal. To schedule a call with Brandon to learn more about how to do deals consistently without seller appointments in a repeatable way, be sure to visit us at sendmoreoffers.com. And be sure to tune in for the next episode of the Send More Offers Real Estate Show.